Hey folks, it's Eric from Support Adventure, and I'm here today to give you tips on how to climb as a technician in an MSP and how to be a great technician at an MSP. And this is really important because we see a lot of MSPs and we see them inside out, from the management level to the client interactions and all of the technicians who are in there in various positions of the help desk and the project team infrastructure and ecosystem. So I would say that the most important thing to start with, if you're starting out in the industry and you want to have a great long career in it, is be consistent and reliable. Be the guy who shows up, or the girl who shows up, as they say, just be there, show up, and be consistent. That's the best thing that you can always do when you're working any job, and like focus on what the job is and what the key points are. Hopefully the MSP will have a structure defined for it, but make sure that you are consistent in terms of the performance of the job, the mood that you're giving to the customers when you're on support calls with them, the ticket notes and all that sort of stuff. We'll talk more about these things as it goes on, but just know that you'll be a great employee if you deliver consistently when others are calling in sick, arriving late, and forgetting to call people back and all that sort of stuff. Number two, going the extra mile. Now, I feel like I'm teaching basic life skills here, but a lot of people don't know this stuff, like the power of consistency and the power of going the extra mile. A lot of people just actually want to work their job. What are the requirements? What do I have to do? And what time does my shift start and finish? And they just show up and robotically and unconsciously or consciously, they're, just trying to do the minimum amount of work that they can to get by and get their next paycheck. And that's not really the attitude that somebody who's going to climb and reach new heights as an IT technician technically, or as an employee or contractor of an MSP, that's not the mentality that they're going to have, because business demands that you constantly do better, and excellence in business, and to really transcend, the levels, you need to be excellent. So go the extra mile. That means always be willing to help the client, just a little bit more, to go a little bit further to solve an issue, to leave better notes and documentation, and just going the extra mile always pays back in dividends. And that's, basic self-help philosophy, but it rings true in a lot of situations, especially in a arena like the MSP space, where things are so random and sort of like people got there by learning as they go, and everybody's kind of scatterbrained genius type who can figure out anything, jumping from thing to thing, multitasking, all this stuff. The people who stand out in that environment are the people who are not only going to be able to think really fast and figure things out on the fly, but the people who will go the extra mile to ensure that the company that they're working for is functioning well and that their clients are happy with the service. So go the extra mile, folks. Number three, something you can go the extra mile on: have great ticket notes. I mean, if you're doing a good job at an MSP, sometimes, especially if you're working remotely or going most of the time on site, your ticket notes are all your job is going to be judged on. They're not going to know every case that you worked on. They're not going to be judging that, but definitely if you write in very clear ticket notes. Now, we do have a ticket note writing guide, which we might be able to send you if you request it. Link below in the description. And basically, ticket notes are the story of you doing your job, and it's what you're judged on. And especially if there's ever a complaint against you as a technician, having good ticket notes that log, for example, that you tried calling the people three times, and then they come back and say, well, they never called me. And then they have like 3 different ticket time entries that say, try calling the user, left a voicemail, et cetera, and 3 emails were sent. And then that complaint will disappear immediately because you've kept good records of your work. Same thing with technical documentation. Another tech, somebody calls up and says, hey, Jimmy helped me last week with this issue. And the next technician that gets the ticket can see in your notes that you documented exactly how you fixed it so they can reproduce the fix. Also, if you are on a project team and you change stuff and you write in your ticket notes the new IP address, you update the documentation. That's the next one. But just everything that you did in ticket notes. And what does that do? It makes it so that you've told the story of your work, documented everything, and in the ticket notes. And if there's ever any question of what you're doing, they're there in the ticket notes, all the steps you took, and your management doesn't need to go and ask you, hey, what happened here? Because they can see it in your excellent ticket notes. So next one, be a top contributor to documentation. Once an MSP gets past a certain size, 5 or 10 technicians or whatever it is, documentation is really key to cut down on the noise on the help desk, the unnecessary escalations that occur when people don't do their part in keeping the technical documentation on a system like IT Glue or any password manager up to date. And so being a part of the team and the people who take this responsibility seriously will make you stand out to management. He'll make you look like someone who actually knows what they're responsible for and lives up to those responsibilities. And, a lot of people in the MSP space don't find the need. They don't have it in their head because, there's this sort of, I guess, I'm such a great technician complex where someone calls me, I solve the issue, ticket resolved, whatever. And they don't take things like ticket notes and documentation seriously. But then, when there's a complaint, it just leads to chaos. And by being a top contributor to documentation, you will actually cut down on the chaos. You will actually make it be a force of structure and order in your organization, and management will notice that. It's all a part of the next one also, which is be a team player. Be a team player. It's not just you versus the world. It's you in an organization working with the clients to achieve the best results possible with people using technology. So any sort of lone wolf mentality or I did my job, the rest is up to you sort of thing, that won't make you look like somebody management wants to promote. It won't make you look like somebody who will ever become management. And you'll just be, if you're doing the minimum of your job and you don't want to help other people because that's not your job or something like that, you'll probably just stay wherever you are. But if you're a team player and you make sure that you go out of your way and go the extra mile, remember that step, to help your team members do their job better. And that ties into the documentation and that stuff like that. So you can be really good as your job as an individual, and that's great. But in order to make the whole company do better, become more profitable, have better clients, have happier clients, and all that sort of stuff, be a team player. And that it means helping management understand how to evolve the system, that all the techs, by noticing things. Because often when we go in and do consultation for MSPs, we find that all the different team players have different ideas of how things work, and they're often very much conflicting with each other. And by offering your insights to the management, sometimes some companies even allow you to do this anonymously. You're a team player by helping the other people stay more in line with a system that's set up for the functioning MSP. That's being a team player. And for mentoring junior technicians, that's being a team player. And this takes us to our next one. Learn from the senior techs. Now, a lot of the time, the senior techs are super nerdy individuals who aren't very much team players. They're the sorts of people who just sort of live and might eventually die in server closets because they're so technical and they don't have the social skills. But some of them do, and some of them are willing to mentor, and you need to learn from these people. Learn from the senior techs, make them feel respected, and have a good dialogue going so that they know that when they tell you something, you're actually going to take it on board and you're actually trying to understand what they understand, not in a way that's going to threaten the job, but in a way that's going to make their job easier. So develop a relationship with senior techs as a mentor. Develop a relationship with the management of your organization. Now, senior techs and management are two different things completely, with similar insights sometimes, but one of the biggest mistakes in organizations we see is that one person suited to be a super tech and they get put in a management position and they don't have the people skills or the leadership vision to be a good manager. Just watch out for that. But both of them, you should be, I mean, you will ultimately decide when you want to move up in an MSP, whether you want to be more tech or management, senior tech or management, whichever way you see yourself going, be in touch with both of those things and be mentored by the people who are currently in those positions, right? And then to see how it works the other way around, help the techs that are more junior to you, right? So everybody starts out at somewhere, and it's their ability to leverage the ecosystem and environment that they're in with all the knowledge that it has to transfer to them that helps them move up. So there's something about mentoring the junior techs which will help you understand how to learn more from the upper levels of the MSP. So spend as much time as you can trying to lead other people, because leadership skills are actually, like, if the current management or ownership of the MSP notices that you have leadership skills, that you have mentoring skills, that you're actually a team player who's taking the responsibility, or out of, just a habit of being helpful, helping the junior techs get the stuff in their head and the values of the company and the documentation, best practices, and all that stuff into their head, and that you're helping, it makes it so much more likely that you're going to be noticed for that and promoted to a next level position. That's more likely if you help the junior techs. And that takes us to like help the management also understand their perspective, running the business, dealing with clients, having to drive sales, having to drive marketing, having to drive, run the financial side of the business. The more understanding you show them of their position, it's hard running an organization. It's hard managing managers. It's hard to define values and make business decisions based on those values when there's very strong financial realities that might make it tempting not to do that. How do you interact with management, the people who control the ecosystem of the company? How do you interact with ownership, executive level, depending on the size of the MSP? If you can understand their considerations and understand the business case, understand the clients and their needs, understand the clients. Yeah, I mean, that's the next one. I mean, understand the clients, give them great service, and give them great service that is built on an understanding of their needs. So the reason people would hire an MSP, an outsourced IT department, is because they have needs. It's because they have a blind spot or a weakness where it comes to technology that a specialized company with that expertise will come in and solve, so that they don't have to struggle to implement that as an internal department. It's easier to ask the experts, go to an MSP that has, consultants on board that will recommend the best technology, that give pricing, which is a clear sort of monthly recurring cost, and and that there's a help desk that will actually be able to provide the level of service that they need to have some sort of continuity in their technology functioning, so that they can do whatever their business actually is. So understand that that's what they need from you, and be willing to understand when that type of service is not taking place, when that type of experience is not being had, and how that interacts with the organization, why this person is complaining that it took 4 hours for someone to call them back when they couldn't print a document that they needed for a meeting or something like that. What can you empathize with them and understand their needs and understand how dependent they are on A, technology, and B, the people that manage it? And can you communicate that and look at you and your team and your management and the tools that you have at your disposal? And can you make it happen for the clients, or contribute to the management of your company better ideas on how you can make it happen to your clients? Then you will move up. And one of the great things about the MSP space is there is a huge lack of talented people. It's a really bad thing if you're an MSP owner who is trying to fill these gaps. So it's a really good thing if you are a go-getter with some technical skills, with some people skills, and some vision of how an organization can give great service to clients. If you can put all this together, you will have a great career in the MSP space. Thanks a lot. And if you like this channel, subscribe. We post videos about traveling all around the world while working remotely in jobs in the IT support industry. So I hope this helped, and good luck on your journey. Catch you later.